It, brother?
Good, good, and you, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great, man. Thanks
I'm good, man.
for agreeing to do this interview, man. It will mean a lot, man, to a lot of people that would want to be like you one day.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, man. So yeah, so let's just get on to it, man. So for the viewer,
yeah,
this is Charles Manyelo. Is a doctoral PhD candidate in molecular biology at the Stellenbosch University. So, man, your research, you're focusing on biomarker signatures for diagnosis of tuberculous meningitis. So, first, let's talk about PhD, man. Like, how is it like to do a PhD, man? I mean, in one of the big universities in South Africa, or how is it like?
being given the opportunity to pursue the science career,
Yeah.
something I'm passionate about. So yeah, I can say it's a very exciting experience. Learning a lot. You
Mm.
know, facing a lot of challenges that comes with itself.
So, how many years did it
Yeah.
take you before you register a PhD? How many years did it take you from high school in average?
Yeah, 6 years after starting the university, 4 years of my undergrad BSc, then 2 years of masters.
Yeah. Then before you get to be a PhD candidate.
Yeah,
So okay. We'll talk more about studies like undergraduate studies in no time. But
yeah,
for now, I want us to talk about your research. Like you're saying, so it's a tuberculous meningitis. Do you care to explain like what does that mean? Because someone might not understand what does that mean. Yeah.
yeah, man. I will just be brief about it.
Yeah.
So, what happened is that many people know tuberculosis as a disease that's more manifesting in the lungs, but they are actually the TB causing bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
This has the ability to spread to other parts of the body, causing what is called extrapulmonary tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the manifestation of tuberculosis, which occurs in the brain when they are basically the spread of the bacteria into the meninges and the cerebrospinal fluid.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's a TB of the brain in simple terms.
yeah,
Okay.
in simple terms.
So
Yeah.
how is that important? Like maybe for example in South Africa, like how is that important or in Africa or South Africa?
South Africa is one of the countries have high burden of tuberculosis, and I think the important thing also is that tuberculosis meningitis is actually the most devastating form of TB. So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to research on that.
Okay. I get it. That's actually exciting. So with regard to your research, are you researching on these
Yeah.
biomarkers? Are they treatment or are they diagnostic tools or exactly like in simple terms
Mm.
for everyone? Like what is that all about?
Yeah. So they are diagnosed. So their biological mark.
Mm.
So it's more about trying to find a test for tuberculosis. Yeah.
Also, you're using this to more like finding a simple way that we can test if someone is having like TB meningitis, like you're saying.
Yes. So there can be, blood-based tests.
So in simple terms, like so far, like with what is known out there, like is it easy to get like a simple way? Like, is there a simple way that we can test TB meningitis and we'll just know straight ahead that this person probably has TB meningitis? Or the reason why you chose this kind of research is because less is known in that regard.
Yeah. The thing is, there's still some delays and challenges in the diagnosis of tuberculous meningitis. And there's been recommendations, encouragement of like many researchers to try and find better ways to diagnose tuberculous meningitis. So
Okay.
hence our research is, looking at the biomarkers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how is your day like as a PhD candidate? Like how is your day? What do you do on a daily basis?
Man, on a daily basis, my day is mostly about reading and writing,
Okay.
keeping up with the literature. Yeah,
Mm,
keeping up with the literature and,
mm.
and writing. But also going to the lab, collecting samples, not really like sample collection from patients, but just going to pick the sample from the hospital if there's a sample and processing the sample for storage. Then later on, when we have enough samples, then I also do experiments in the lab.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much what you do on a daily.
And yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, what I do on a daily basis.
Okay.
Obviously, also attending the meetings, yeah, presentations, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have
Yeah.
also done masters in molecular
Yeah.
biology, and one of
Yes.
your research actually is a master's with cum laude. That is the graduation uh, from
Yeah.
Stellenboch University, and your
Yeah.
thesis was also focusing on the tuberculosis in children.
Yes.
How is that different from the one that you're doing? Oh,
Yeah, in my master's also, I was looking at biomarker signatures
mm,
TB and tuberculous meningitis.
yeah.
And I was looking at that in children. So what happened is that we are trying to, to move, to push what we found in my master's, more like validating what we found in my master's, but from my master's. So we're trying to like answer those questions. We included new objectives on that, or new aims. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually expanded what you're doing and be more specific
Yeah.
in some form of complications of TB itself.
That's true.
Okay, okay. So with regard to
TB.
you spoke about attending presentations. So
Yeah.
at some point, I believe you go and present to the scientific community,
Yeah.
and you went to Portugal, and you also
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
USA. So do you mind sharing the experience like from Portugal? What was that all about? Like how was the environment or the scientific space?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with Portugal. How was it?
Yeah, man. Project experience. It was actually my first presentation in a conference. I didn't have the privilege to present in a local conference. So my first presentation, was,
Yeah.
Portugal. So it was. I was excited, but I was
Mm.
very nervous.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I learned a lot from that. Meeting all these guys that some of them you just see their papers online. Now you get to meet those guys. A group of clinicians. Scientists. It's just yeah. It was very exciting, man.
It was interesting. So were they
Yeah.
also doing TB or they were also doing other things like other conditions? So
Yeah, they're also doing other conditions. So the conference was actually on infectious diseases. So you'll find other guys
Oh,
presenting on malaria,
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was more of
yeah.
infectious disease than.
Yeah, than only TB. So there was more actually. Other guys presenting on HIV. Yeah.
So how long did you?
So
How long did that conference last? Like how many days?
um, the whole week actually. The conference started on a Sunday, I think. Yeah, Sunday evening. Just more like yeah. It was not like the actual program. It was just about welcoming and everything. The opening of the conference actually.
Hmm.
And on a Friday, it was just a sightseeing, kind of thing.
Oh, so you went around to see what's going on down there.
4 or 5 days, yeah. Yeah, visiting different labs that they have that site, the university that they have that site. They explain some of the studies that they do that site, yeah.
Hmm.
And also, of course, just to see the area.
Oh, is it cold there? Oh,
No, it was not really cold
okay. Which
around that time.
when
No, it
when
was not cold.
when did you go there?
September.
Oh, it was around September.
September.
Okay.
Yeah, so the weather was very fine. Yeah, it was warm.
So you were still doing masters then?
Yes, that was my final year of masters. It was actually just after I submitted my thesis, just waiting for feedback from the reviewers.
Okay, okay. So you also
Yeah,
went
yeah,
to New Mexico in USA.
yeah,
Was that
yeah.
during PhD
New
program?
Mexico.
Mm.
Yes, um, that was this year early in January before
Yeah.
before
Before,
COVID-19. Yeah,
before
that was
COVID.
this year
Yeah.
early. Yeah, yeah, many weeks before. So I'm not even counted as people who recently traveled. So yeah, it was in January. In January. So it was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
what was the scene like? Were they also doing infectious disease or it was broad?
So the the symposia was actually on tuberculosis, focusing specifically on immunity. There was a bunch of immunologists. That was actually very exciting for me. Yeah,
Really?
it was a lot of immunologists. Yeah, it was a lot of immunologists. Very exciting presentations. Man, it was good.
It was
It was
amazing.
good.
So did you
Yeah, it was
present?
amazing, man.
Did you present?
No, unfortunately, I didn't have I just the begin. It's just the beginning of my PhD, so I didn't have presentation. So I went there to. So on the first day when I got there, I attended a workshop on immunity, vaccination of um, just the workshop actually looked at the vaccines that are currently on clinical trials for tuberculosis.
Mm.
So I think that was the main important thing also for me, because it was specifically focused on the students. Actually, it was just a, I think, 2-3 hours workshop on the first day before the main conference started. So I think it was more of a preparation, because when the conference started, I started realizing that actually there's some terminologies that you needed to understand before you can actually attend some of I mean some of the conference, to listen to some of the speakers actually. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah,
So in this research field, man, what are
yeah.
various opportunities that one can take?
Um,
Like for example,
that refers to
after Yeah, like for example, in a simple way, like what's next after PhD? What's next?
Okay, yeah, I get your point. So, I think people take, different um, paths.
Mm.
I think it's also about your interest. So I'm interested in research. So for me, I would say what next it will be going for, looking for postdoctoral opportunities. So that I can get more training as a scientist. Because that obviously exposes you to like there's more learning. When you're in the postdoc, that's where you get to learn a lot of things about, uh, grant writing, supervision, being leading your own project. Then you know then from there you can go on to becoming a scientist. Obviously, you can become a junior scientist, later on a senior scientist, and yeah, I think I would say for me, I'm interested in research, so that's the path I'm looking to take.
Yeah, and you're also interested in TB, or you're willing to go into other fields of research.
Yeah, I'm willing actually to go into other field of research,
Yeah.
specifically, I would say specifically more immunology based research. I'm willing to do research in something different, not only TB.
Oh, so you want to explore as well, like immunological conditions and the likes.
Yeah, explore other things. Yeah,
So,
I'm, I'm definitely looking
so
forward to that.
just take us through what you did, like from high school. What did you do in order for you to end up being where you are right now? Like in terms of degrees, what did you do?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Basically, I didn't know, man. Obviously, I can study from metric.
Yeah.
That's where you start questioning yourself as to where you're going the
Mm.
year after. There are a lot of uncertainties. Obviously, at that time, I didn't know actually a lot about universities. I didn't actually, unfortunately, have anyone to speak to about what are the opportunities out there, especially in terms of the fundings and all the stuff. So um, I had the privilege. There was this teacher who was more like my math teacher, actually. I think she saw potential and she helped me to put together an application where I actually had a different first choice as what I have now.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
what I'm doing now was actually what what I'm doing now was actually a third choice on the application form.
Oh.
It was actually a third choice on the application form. So I had a different first choice and second choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I completed my metric. Early in Jan, I realized I haven't had anything from the university. So I only had a student number at the time. The only thing they responded to me like was an acknowledgement letter, which
Yeah.
they only give you, a student number.
Mm.
So yeah, I tried to follow up on my first choice, but that didn't work quite well. So yeah, that's when I actually, went to the University of Limpopo to follow up on because my first choice was also in the University of Limpopo to follow up on my first choice, but that didn't work well, and that's when I went for my third choice, um, which was Bachelor of Science in Medical Sciences. Um, then, yeah, I started my first year in 2013. Um yeah, I got introduced to medical science in 2013 because we had like an introductory medical science course. That's when I started learning what medical science is, and you know, um, there was still a lot of uncertainties at the time, actually.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so as the time goes on, especially when you go into the second year, that's where you get exposed to more specific modules like biochemistry, you know, pathology, physiology. Now things actually start becoming very much interesting. Then when we went to third level, that's when I specifically, you know, was more interested into immunology as compared to many other courses. I think it was the experience from second year when I did pathology, which had a little bit of immunology in it. So yeah, then yeah, we got to third year. Then from there, you know, it was more course based at the time, so I didn't know much about research at the time. So only when we got to final year, that's when we did research, and of course I majored in immunology because that's what I was more excited about. Then that's when we started doing research in the final year, learning more about research. You know, we also did a research methodology course and research basic statistics course. So yeah, that's when actually I would say I got more interested in research. And on my final year, that's when I started thinking about what's next now that I'm doing final year. You know, in the next few months, I'm going to be done with this degree. Where am I going now? And I realized that I actually wanted to continue with my studies, and I would like to actually do research. And that's when I actually found out that you know, I can go for an MSc. And yeah, that's when I started contacting different, you know, supervisors, trying to get a supervisor for my master's. And yeah, I think before June, you know, I'd already found a supervisor in Stellenbosch. And yeah, I was looking forward to starting my master's the next year. Then yeah, I came to Stellenbosch in 2017 to start my master's. Yeah. Yeah, then I started my master's in 2017. As I already mentioned, my project was on tuberculosis. Then I completed it in 2018. Then from there, that's when I registered for my PhD in 2019. So I'm currently on the second year of my PhD now.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a journey, serious journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so many years. This is
So
the eighth year in
eight years
research.
in the university. Okay, so let's talk about the experience, because you got to experience two different universities in South Africa. Like, let's just talk
Yeah,
about Stellenbosch. How is it like in terms of research? Like where you are, like how is it like? Is it a
yeah.
like the environment? Like, are you in a research group, or are you, you know, only having a supervisor? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the research is quite on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's advanced, man. It's advanced, man. So yeah, I'm in a research group. That's actually doing a lot more other studies.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually doing a lot more other studies. So they are also training postgraduate student. You know, but it's a big research group.
Okay. So, would you like to join this group
Yeah.
in the near future? You being a professor in the department, or you wanna go back to the University of Limpopo once you're a professor? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to work with this group, man. Yeah, they are doing exciting stuff, man. They're doing exciting stuff, and you know, um, yeah, they're doing exciting stuff, and I believe that it's a good group to work with. But yeah, at the same time, you mentioned something very touching. Obviously, working at the university where I started, everything would also be exciting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say as time goes on, you know, also I guess it will also depend on the opportunities, on like where am I given the opportunity. But yeah, I would definitely like to work with this group that I'm currently training with. Yeah.
Okay. Before I forget, there's something that I need to ask about. You have two papers that are published already, and you are the first author.
Yeah, that's true.
How does that work? Like, what is the process of publishing? You know.
Yeah, I would say, I think these guys here, they do prioritize, I would say, every work that we do, one of the priorities is that it gets published. Not that that's the only thing we do with the work, but yeah, one of the priorities is that the work must go out there, contribute to the scientific knowledge. So as soon as I was done with my, after submitting my master's, then I started writing up on the then I wrote up the first draft, then my supervisors, writing up the first draft and have them reviewing it, and we made corrections. And yeah, once we had a full, a complete draft or a complete manuscript, then to a journal, and then the journal will, have reviewers. So that's why we say it's a peer-reviewed article. So the journal will have the reviewers reviewing the article, and they'll give you some feedback. They might want you to correct some things. Then once you correct those things, and then they can approve it. So once the reviewers have approved it, then you might have to pay the publication fee. Then yeah, they will have the article out. Yeah.
So by having many articles or by writing articles, what does that do to you? Like, does it increase your rating as a researcher, or what? Like, why do we always hear that somebody published 30 articles? Why does it have to be out there?
Yeah, man. From what I learned, so publications are a very important thing in the research field. They contribute a lot to your profile as a scientist. Publish or perish.
Or publish or perish. Okay.
So yeah, it contribute a lot to your profile. Eventually honored as a professor. So that's
okay. No, I think we have exhausted all the questions that I wanted to ask you, and I hope young researchers out there, they'll be inspired, and hopefully they will, join you guys in this field of research, because it really sounds exciting, and we hardly hear about these things. We just see the test being ready. We just use the test in the hospital, but often not. We don't usually question where are these tests coming from and how they came about and the number of years that it took for the test to be developed. As you said, like, these are important conditions, in South Africa. So much is known, and so much can still be known regarding this condition. So I would like to say thank you for your time, man, and your insight, and telling me about research, and say thank you. And I believe everyone out there will actually take this as a form of motivation to follow their dreams and do great for this community, for Africa and for South Africa.
Yeah, that's true, man. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, man.
Okay, sure. I'll see you around.
Sure, thanks, man.